Okay, so in this second half of the call, what I'm going to be doing here is taking you through how you actually can be using the Botsy system in order to generate generate sales, build your team, and automate how you're following up without, as it says here, wasting hours on manual follow-ups. So I've created, I talked right at the beginning of this call about, or earlier about Eric Worre's 7 steps and how Botsy kind of emulates those 7 steps. His 7 steps are pretty timeless, but obviously things have moved on in the last 20 years. So what I've done here is bring it kind of bang up to date around how you'd use Botsy, but it's almost in parallel to those 7 steps. But we don't have 7 steps, we have 6 steps. So our 6 steps spell out Botsii, Botsii, right? So I'm going to take you through these one at a time so you can see how this all works. So first one is build interest. And this, to be honest, is the one thing you need to master. I'm sure you've all heard the expression before around how it takes 10,000 hours to master something, right? We've all heard that expression, whether it be learn a musical instrument or play the piano, stuff like that, or learn any new skill. It takes 10,000 hours. Well, the challenge, if you're looking at, say, becoming a network marketing professional, which is what Eric Worre teaches, is how can you do that across all the different things that he's expecting you to do? It might take someone 10 years to master all his 7 steps. So with Botsy, if you've got Botsy automating steps 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, where it's very low touch for you, there's not much you need to do because the system's doing most of it. The one thing you need to be very good at that you do need to master is building interest so that people want to find out about what you do. And when you get good at that, it becomes easy. Like I commented on a Facebook post from somebody today, a massive marketer, like huge. He's done hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. He posted on his Facebook about something. Um, I can't remember what it was, but I replied. And I've already got people, big networkers, commenting on my reply, asking me for information. And I set up my comment was setting up for Botsy for them to find out and want to know more about Botsy. That's building interest. I've literally got that sitting, as something for me to follow up later. If I get time, I'll show you that post so you can see what I did. But literally, when you get good at this, it's easy. You see opportunities everywhere for people to be able to start conversations with you. So you just want to get really, really good at that. Obviously, one of the things that I've created to make that easier is if I go to here and I kind of scroll up a second, I need to go back to the top of this. I think it's in this one here. It's the daily message. If you're getting these daily messages through from Botsy, then this is giving you access to content that you can be posting online and using this essentially to build interest. So it's really important you do that and you do it consistently because when you do it consistently, people get to know what you're about, right? And therefore people understand what you stand for and what niche you're in and how you're helping people and all that kind of stuff. And things will come from that. If you do that well, people will recommend you to other people. People will say, "Oh yeah, I know Natalie. She's doing stuff in the health space. She's helping people get fitter, healthier, live longer. Let me introduce you to my friend Natalie." Right? And that's because they know what you stand for. So when you put stuff out there like that online, then it kind of means other people can advocate for you. But it also means when you put an offer out there and you're giving people a chance to work with you, it also means those people that do know, like, and trust you, they're more likely to engage as well. So this is the main menu. You get to the Traction Marketing Bot. You get all this content in here. There's more that I'll be adding to. There's company specific content as well. And literally this can act as the springboard for how you share content online. So if I give you an example, let's just do one in 365. And you can use this a number of ways. I've done a whole call on this, just focusing on this with different ways of doing it, but I'll just show you some examples. You could copy and paste the content depending upon what comes out, but you can also You can also use AI, for example. You could use this to create video content and repurpose in other ways. So, for example, um, these are kind of different high-level topics that you get in this bit of the bot. And by the way, there's already 365 days content loaded into the bot here. So you could use this for a whole year and you might never get the same post twice. Okay, it's all random, so you might do, but the reality is there's a year's worth of content already stacked inside the bot here. There's about 3 years worth of content across the whole system, and more adding all the time. So here, for example, what it tends to do, it does vary. It will give you, for example, a prompt or a task. Sometimes it's like fill in the blanks um, and that kind of thing. But here's saying, look, choose a current media story causing controversy, explain it from either side in layman terms so people not involved can understand it better. So if you're in the health niche, you probably can pick tons of examples like that. If you're in even in the crypto trading, there'll be tons. If you're in, I don't know, forex trading, there'll be tons. If you're in travel, there'll be tons. You'll always be able to find examples that are in the kind of mainstream media that trigger people to want to have conversations about it. Always, it's easy to. And if you're not sure, go to ChatGPT and it will give you ideas. Go to Google, it will give you ideas. But ChatGPT, I'd say, is better. But literally, you can pick that up and you'll be able to get ideas from it. I mean, I'm just do it as an example. Let's just go to ChatGPT. I have a paid account. I'm just going to show you a free account though. So this one will be one that's where I'm not registered, but you want to register for the free one because then it remembers your previous conversations and all that. For demo purposes, I'm just going to this when I'm not logged in. So I could pick up that bit there and say, can you give me an example for the following niches, right? And I'm going to say travel, crypto, health, just so you can understand what I'm on about. Because look, it's going to the web. ChatGPT now goes to the internet. Didn't at the beginning, but now it does. So you got here about airspace closure in I didn't know about that, but if you're in the travel niche, that could be quite handy to know. Um, Crypto, another scandal to do with Argentina, health. Okay, that's actually a really good one, right? This is a really good example. Okay, not actually related to Robert F. Kennedy, the example I'm going to give you, but actually is related to the Kennedys. Okay, just by complete coincidence. So if I go here, I want to show an example. This was a post I did and I used this couldn't have been a better thing to show you actually. I used a prompt from the attraction marketing bot and then used ChatGPT to kind of come up with some ideas and then I posted about this. And I posted basically about conspiracy theories to do with Kennedy's assassination. Look how much engagement it's had. Like that was in that was probably all within a week. 100,000 views, 800 comments, 733 shares, right? That image, just so you know how I did it, I literally had some content. I actually didn't even create it. Um, I got it from somewhere, so I didn't even write it. And I went to Unsplash, which is a free site where you can get free images. And I literally typed in JFK because I wanted an image. There you go. I wanted an image that was unique. So if I post something about it online, other people haven't seen that image. So it looks like, oh, right, okay, that's fresh. I've not read anything about that before. That might be a different article to the previous one. So I literally just took that image. And that's what basically the post was about. 100,000 views. You can set up you can set up your Facebook so that people that engage like this, because 98% of those people were not my followers, and you can set it up where when people engage with your post, Facebook will automatically give them a prompt to follow you. So literally, you can just be on autopilot from one post like this. You might be gaining a few thousand followers. Like you think 1,000 followers is 1% of that post. It's nuts, isn't it? Right, the scale on this. And that was literally using the attraction marketing bot. I had another one like this as well. That was within a week of using it. That got 50,000 views. I was quite happy with that. But when I got 100,000, it's like this is ridiculous. The phone just didn't stop pinging. So yeah, look, very, very cool. Okay. So build interest. That's where you need to spend most of your time, genuinely most of your time. Um, and there's so many things you can be doing. So, for example, and you can go to ChatGPT for this. So, for example, earlier today on this coaching call, I narrowed down that the person who I was speaking to, their target market, because he spoke Romanian, he was Romanian national, but also spoke a bit of English. He needed to find ways of breaking into the English speaking market. And his product was very much geared towards women. So I said to him, your target market should be um, English speaking Romanian women who are interested in health and network marketing. Very specific, right? And then I went to Chat GPT on the call, and I said something along the lines of, I am promoting, and I actually put the, by the way, the company in there with the link, and ChatGPT went off to the internet and then tailored its reply according to the company. So that was really cool. But I was basically said I am promoting. I'm just going to say a health company, and targeting. Oh no, that's not really not the right word. And my target market, say it that way. And my target market is English speaking Romanian women focused on health and network marketing, right? Um, can you come up with ideas and strategies for um, uh, for building interest, right? Let's use that word, building interest in my product. You could do the same thing as this, right? It will give you a ton of stuff, ton of ideas that you can implement. And so when you do this, by the way, in a free account or in a registered account, what you can do is you can now create like another discussion around the Facebook group, and then use Chat GPT to build up what you're going to do there. Literally, you could have a whole thread about that one thing, that Facebook group, and you could go there and say, "Give me Facebook posts, give me ideas on what to share in my group today," stuff like that. And Chat GPT will give you that content. Um, so literally, this is coming up with a whole bunch of different ideas you can implement. You could do exactly the same thing as this for your niche, for your company, for your target market, right? This for him is really important because if he doesn't connect with the right people, he's just going to get really frustrated if his language becomes a barrier. But if he finds people that speak Romanian and also speak English, he can tap into new markets more easily because those people will then create his market in English for him. So you could do exactly the same thing as this. So it all comes back to building interest. Once you've built interest, so you imagine you're posting content online. I'm sure you've all done this, where you post content online and and you ask people to comment, or you ask people to send you a DM and things like that, or you might obviously DM people yourself. Then that next step is opening a chat with that person, starting a conversation with that person. That's the next step. So literally, you're in Messenger, you're having a chat with them, and you're not necessarily going to pitch them straight away. You want to understand, okay, so I posted about, I don't know, I posted about something about, not getting a good night's sleep, and I've now got a product that helps me sleep better at night, and you've had the best night's sleep in a year. Well, other people might comment because they're not able to sleep very well, and they can understand that pain point. Well, you're gonna have a chat with them to understand their situation rather than literally pitch them. But once you feel like they're ready, you want to send them your bot link. Now you could just share that bot link with them and forget about it. Personally, though, I would share them the link like this on a live call. If you want to do this really properly, I'd get them on a live call like this. I'd have them come into their bot. I'd give them a bit of a guided tour to their bot because you want to make sure they're connected, don't you? If you spend all that time building up the interest and having a chat with them, why just like fling a link over them and hope for the best? You actually want to ideally jump on a quick call, 5 minute call, get them connected. And because once they're inside your bot, now you know they can see what they need to see to check it all out. And you know then you can agree what you're doing next. If you follow Eric Worre's principles, he will say, schedule a call, schedule that follow up. And he's absolutely right. If you're going to share the bot link with them, you want to say to them, okay, when will you have a chance to look through this? It might take an hour, it might take two, depending upon all the information you're looking at. When will you have a chance to do that? Because whenever they commit to doing it, you want to then schedule that time with them afterwards. The really cool thing is this though. You're going to share your bot link. They're going to go into your bot and there'll be a presentation and all that kind of stuff. That's going to trigger them. But also, and I use the word trigger deliberately, you're going to get emails through that are triggered by the system. Remember what I showed you here. All these email triggers are going to be coming through to you based upon what they're looking at. So you'll know, for example, if they've come into the presentation, and if, for example, in the presentation, you've got a video replay, you've got a PDF that they can download, and there's a webinar they can join, you'll get 3 different emails through to each of those sections. You know they're interested, right? Really interested. But if you don't get anything, and they've not even bothered looking at the presentation, then like you can message them back and say, hey, you come into the bot and they've stopped here. They haven't even watched it. They haven't even progressed beyond like, this point here in the bot. So you maybe got that trigger and that was it. Well, you can message them and say, hey, we had a chat here. You said you wanted to see a solution that's going to help you sleep better at night. You said we're going to have a call, which is like this afternoon, and I can see you've not even looked at it yet. Should we reschedule the call, or have you got time to look at it before the call? Like you could literally do that, and Eric Worre talks about doing this in his book, by the way, but he didn't have the technology that I'm showing you now that will allow you to actually compress time here and give you the ability to drive those conversations. You're not on the back foot. When he says it in his book, he says, you show up to the call and he's not watched the presentation. So both of you show up to the call and they haven't done what they said they're going to do. Now you just wasted time showing up to the call. Here, you can actually force the issue before the call because they've not done it yet. So you can be way more proactive about it. So that's really important for them to come into the bot. And like I said, you know exactly what they've looked at because you get all these triggers through. Next, you want to stay connected because obviously if you have a call scheduled with them, to follow up, great. That's really important. But you can stay connected too because you're getting all these notifications through. So you know what they've looked at, what they've not looked at. So you'll know if they've been to the slide or the area that's got testimonials in it, for example. You'll know whether they've looked at the webinar and come on, or even thought about coming on a webinar. So you can use that as an opportunity to stay connected, to get in terms of getting back to them because you've got that insight. At some point, though, you want to be inviting that prospect to join your team. You need to ask for the sale, right? Asking for the sale is, probably the most difficult thing for lots of people. As in, now's the time to buy. And have you got any further questions type thing. So you want to invite them to join you. And the good thing is here is that if you know they've come into the bot and they've looked right round the bot, you know that they're interested. So you know that will be an easier sell. Whereas if there's areas of the bot they've not looked at, often the useful links in Linktree and stuff like that, those would be good things to follow up with them on if they haven't come in there and looked at that because it's going to be easier to invite them when they've made an informed decision. So you want to invite that prospect, and then ultimately, do you want a team member that is just a customer, or do you want them to actually be building your team, right? We all know what the answer is. You want builders in your team, don't you? You don't want passive people who are just going to buy the product and sit back and do nothing. You want them actually using it. So this is where you want to be able to inspire them to take action. And the cool thing, obviously, here is if they have come through your bot, if their experience has been, coming into the bot to discover the business, and that's how they've made a decision to buy, then it becomes an awful lot easier to literally bring them over to here into the Botsy section and have them basically be excited about working with you, building your team using exactly the same tool that they used when they joined the business themselves. Because if they've experienced this themselves when they bought into your opportunity, it's going to be a lot easier for them to think, you know what, I can do that. I can do the same thing that you did with me. You showed up on a call and you connected with me with my bot, and I saw a post that you put out there online that I replied to. In terms of how you built interest. If all of that is what if you've used the system for all of that, and that's how they've come in, it's going to be a lot easier for them when you're talking about inspiring them to take action to think, oh, okay, I can do that too. So look, that's it, guys. Here, that's everything I want to say about this section. The most important one, the one you really want to master, is building interest and getting really, really good at building interest. Let me just, I don't know if I can do this here. Probably can actually. I'm just going to go to Facebook because I said I was going to show you the example that I did today. So I'm just going to search somebody's name. I'm not going to be friends with him, so let's just see if he comes up. It might be that one there. Let's have a look. So this is shows you how like this guy that generated hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. And if any of you know, ever heard of the Empower Network, it was a company probably about 10 years ago that he founded, and it did incredibly successful. So he put a post here about this. And you can see why I commented here. He said, I'm convinced that one of the reasons that people don't make money is actually setting up marketing automation is unbelievably complicated and detailed work, even with all the modern tools. But anybody knows ever gets the automations running to the point where they can actually just work with leads in an efficient way. Then the next problem is lead flow, which is and all that kind of stuff. So I can see, I'm looking at this is, for me, that's like, okay, well, Botsy can take less than an hour to get set up. I see people that buy the bot, I get the email notification through saying, oh, they bought the bot. It's like, oh, brilliant. And then an hour later, I get notifications through that they've activated their bot. Like, that's really cool. I can see people doing this onboarding. They've got their system live literally within an hour of buying it, which is like fantastic. That's what I like to see. So when I saw this post, I was like, you know what? There is a better way. I know there's a better way. So I commented. So if I show you my comments, you can see them out again. Here we are. So literally, I just replied here. So, and that's very true. I think it was Eric Warrior said the other day, 70% of people uh, don't sign up even one person. It's a huge failure rate. And I just said I use a bot that does all the back end automation so I can focus on lead gen and having quality conversations. The bot even tells me who is interested and how interested and when, so I don't have to waste time with tire kickers. It works with any network marketing company too, takes 5 minutes to set up. So, no, you don't need to be a rocket scientist, which is a thing you mentioned above. Would you agree with that comment? Like, knowing what you know about Botsy, yeah, I can see you nodding, right? You'd agree with that comment. So that's what I
Absolutely.
said. What's that, Jan?
Absolutely.
Right, absolutely right. Now, obviously, this is second nature to me, okay? Um, and I've done this where I've deliberately not said it's my company. I've also said that I've not said what it is, and I've also anchored it to Eric Worre, right? Because people know Eric Worre. So I had some replies. Some of these people are actually quite big people. Anyway, I said straight away, well, since you put it that way now, I've got to see it, lol. Right? I've created massive curiosity. Ari, who I know is a huge marketer, said, I'd like to see it too. And Melissa said, how do I get this bot? Right, she's ready to buy, right? So, and I've had other people here who I could also follow up with. So this is not difficult stuff, right, guys? It's about building interest, being good at building interest and seeing opportunities. It's like this. Have you ever heard that thing like where well, let me ask you this question. Has anybody here on this call bought a car before? Yeah,
Question.
absolutely. So just put in the chat what was the make and what was the color of the car, or what was the model and what was the color of the car.
The blind.
Just put in the chat. Just put it in the chat so I can see when I read them out. Just write in the chat what was the model of the car and what color was it, just so I can get some flavors here. Are we typing? Silver Mini, my first car ever. Toyota Corolla. I learned to drive in a Toyota Corolla, and a black one. So I bet, right? Just using Becky, your example, Silver Mini. I bet when you got that car, you would be driving around afterwards, and you'd be seeing Silver Minis everywhere. Like everywhere you looked, you were seeing silver millies. Same with Jan with your Toyota Corolla, right? Black Toyota Corolla. I bet you saw those everywhere. And what was it? Natalie silver Citroen secondhand silver red. First car was solid red. Yeah, I bet you. I bet once you got that car, or even thought about getting that car, you'd see them everywhere on the road, and you probably do already now, right? 20 years later, or whatever it might be, you still see that same car on the road. If you ever see it, it's like, oh yeah, I had one. That was my first car, right? You know, well, and wow, okay. I wish I lived where you lived, Charlie, a Chevy Impala convertible. Yeah, we don't get many of those in the UK. So here, that's the thing, right? At the end of the day, when you are kind of zoned into something, when something is like like that where it's kind of registers in your brain, you can't get it out of your brain, right? And it's like this with Botsy. Once you get to the point where you're really comfortable with Botsy and you're really comfortable with how you use it to build interest, where it's just literally it's literally it's literally imprinted on your brain, just like the color of your car was, and you see it everywhere. You'll see opportunities everywhere. You'll be online and you'll see opportunities everywhere to literally open conversations with people, in a sociable way. So yeah, this is the system I've shared with you here, Botsy. You can see all those steps there. The one to focus on 100% is build interest for no other reason as well. If you only have this conversation with one person a month, how successful are you going to be as a network marketer? Right? You're not, are you? But if you have that conversation 10 times a day and you're having a chat 10 times a day, that's 300 people a month. Or it's a couple, even if it's 5 days a week, that's a couple hundred people a month. So now you're going to have a lot more going through here. And bearing in mind, the whole principle of network marketing is you want to have people at the end of this process be inspired to take action. So if you have 100 people a month you speak to, how many of them buy and how many of them are inspired to take action? And actually, that leads me to this next and final section. This is a very short session, and so I'm going to press pause again on the recording so I break this call up a bit, and then I'm going to take you into this final session. This is the napkin session that I want to share with you, and it's very, very cool. This session will basically make it possible for people, well, for you to inspire people to take action before they even started, before they even bought Botsy. They'll understand the power of the system. So let me press stop a second. I'll come back in.